Thanks for tuning in. It's Thela from Miss Thela Pink Journey, sharing how I am learning to use the Brother Scan N Cut 325. In this video, I am cutting 100% cotton fabric, and I have ironed SF101 interfacing onto the fabric. I am cutting fabric side up, and in some instances, maybe I didn't show in the video, but I have also cut fabric side down with the SF101 on top. Whether I place the fabric on top and SF101 on the bottom of the mat, or if I flipped that around and had the SF101 on top and the cotton fabric on the bottom, each time I got a precise cut. Next up, I'm going to share with you how I scan a pattern into the machine to cut. I will go to my home screen and I'm going to scan to cut data. Then I'll click on start, and I need to change the scanner level. I had it on 2 because I was doing fabric, and the scanner level is over here on the side. See if I can let you see it. It's all the way over here. Kind of hard for you to see it, but I need to let it back down to 1. And then I'll press start to scan this page. I just want to scan that pattern and do a little cut on it. So it's recognizing. Takes a minute. So now there it is on my screen. And next I want to tell it that I want to cut it. I'm going to click OK. Next I'm going to save it to the computer. It's now saved in the machine's memory. Click OK. At this point, I clicked the home button here, and that took me back to retrieve the data so that I can continue. Now that I have scanned that part of the pattern, I'm going to go to retrieve data. I should have it in here a couple of times. Click on retrieve the data. And I scanned it twice. Didn't have to, but I did. Now I'm going to actually click OK. And then I want to click the edit button, because all I really want is this little part of it, right? So I can say, I think I click, let me try 2 things. Object edit, no, that's not it. I want to click on those three buttons there. And then I can click on this. I could get rid of all that noise, but a quicker way for me is to have all the red selected that I don't want and click on the actual pattern piece that I do want. See if you can see how the pattern piece doesn't have any red on the actual pattern piece, right? And all the other red I want to go away. So I'll click OK. A little harder. And then I'll hit the delete button to delete everything except my pattern piece. And now I have my pattern piece left over. I can click OK. And I want to save it to this machine. I want to overwrite what I had with all the parts that I didn't want anymore. So I'll overwrite that first pattern and make this the newer pattern. So now it's saved as 12. Now I will take this piece of fabric that I have and work around that in order to cut that pattern. So I've used my brayer to just roll down the mat. I took the mat off and rolled it down and tried to flatten out the fabric as much as possible onto the mat, because what I'm using is the standard mat instead of the sticky mat or high-tack mat. This is just a standard mat. I only have 2 mats so far, and the other one is the fabric mat. So I'm just going to stick it right back in here, and I will click on this button in order to scan the mat. So it's slowly scanning. Well, it's not scanning the mat, it's rolling it in there. Here it is scanning. So I added my mat, and then what I can do is I can actually scan this mat to find out where I have space for this actual pattern to cut. And to do that, I would click this button and I'll click start. It's telling me to scan the mat and show its background, put material to scan the mat to set into the machine. So what I did is I just put a couple of pieces of tape down to hold it, to hold my fabric, since I'm just using the standard mat. And I'll hit the start button, and it's just going to scan my mat to show me what I actually have, the space that I can use to print. Like, it helps me to, not to print, to cut. It helps me to save and use my scraps, which I love doing. So now I can see the open space I have is like right up here and over there. So let's see if I have enough space to cut this pattern. If I move it up and over, will I have enough room? Yeah, I got enough room. Let me see if you can see that. Let me do that again. So it was down here when I started, right? And I can see that it'll be pretty close if I moved it here, although I think it would work. But I'm going to put it right up here at the top and over just a bit. And I still have a little room around to actually cut this piece out. You can see it better there, right? And the rest are cutouts that I've already cut the pattern out. So I'm just trying to use up my scraps all around my fabric. So now I'm going to click the OK button, and I'm going to hit select, cut, and I have the pressure set at 1. That's how I cut these, so I'm going to try that again. Let's hit the start button. I'm not going to test because I tested on 1 before, and that's the little test right there. So let's see what happens. It says it's going to take 2 minutes to cut. The rotary cutter kind of jumps around. It takes a little longer to cut, but it's been worth it for me. Remember, this is what I'm cutting right here. This little piece. The head front of the actual teddy bear. So now it has 1 minute left. What I found, if it doesn't work out right with the settings I have, I just leave my fabric down and I recut. So now it says it's finished cutting. And I will click OK. And let me test out. I didn't get my little spatula out, so I'll just use this again. Little tweezers to get it up. I mean, it cuts so well, just that's it. I mean, it's perfect. You can't beat this for the perfect cut of that piece. My bears seem to be much more precise when I use the Scan and Cut. And it doesn't take a lot of time at all. It takes me more time trying to get the little nooks and crannies, so this is cool for me. For this project, I actually used the standard tack adhesive mat, and I also used the Rotary Blade attachment. I'll show you a close-up of the Rotary Blade attachment here. Thus far, using the Rotary Blade attachment, my cuts have come out very precise. I've cut several other patterns and it works out really well. I've also cut the pattern from the PDF actual printout and it works great. I have also tested printing PDF patterns, scanning them to the Scan and Cut, and cutting them using the machine, and it worked out great. If you're interested in seeing something like that, let me know. Leave a message below, and I'll be sure to record a video on it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more content.